I'm trying to masturbate, but I can't because I'm too hungover, and I don't know, it somehow correlates. Plus, my fingernails are sharp, so let's get into it. Also, I was looking at Twitter because I don't know. Sometimes when I'm bored, I try to look at Twitter, and some dude is going viral because he's just like he's been tweeting nonstop for years. I want a daughter. I want a daughter. I wish I had a daughter. I want a daughter. And then guess what? We found out today that he has a daughter. He has a 10-year-old child. For 3 fucking years, he's been posting about how he wants a kid. He has a 10-year-old daughter that he does not fucking see. No child support, no seeing her, nothing. Actually, no, I think he does pay her child support, but even then, just zero connection with her at all. And it's not like she lives far. She only lives 3 hours away. This man is a truck driver. He does routes that long all the fucking time. He's just mad. Like, he said, like, well, the baby, there's issues with the baby mother. Turns out the issue with the baby mother is just that the baby mother, I don't know, fucked his friend or whatever. And if you're like, oh, that's perfectly reasonable to be mad enough at the baby mother to abandon his child. No, kill yourself. Kill yourself. Now. Today. Go die today. Because fuck you. Also, what's crazy is he has 2 other kids with another woman. And he sees them all the time, endlessly, like so much. Astronomically, he has a bond with the child. Like, oh my fucking god. And this shit got me mad, and I'm gonna tell you why. No, actually, the last guy I dated. I have been talking about him less, God bless. I'm grateful for that, amen. But still, as we dated, like, I already was kind of hesitant to date a dude with a kid because I thought to myself, dear Lord in heaven, I don't want to be like one of those people who dates a dude with a kid and then ends up being like the reason his bond gets fucked up. Did that kind of happen anyway? Yes, but that was his doing, not my own. And I still kept trying to encourage him to do right, and he still was like, he was one of those, he just God. Like, sorry, if I seem like I'm speechless, it's just because I have such an overload of information that my system's just like glitching out because I don't know where I want to start. Okay, let's start with my own situation. I remember when I was like 19, 20 or so, eventually my grandma and my my grandma on my dad's side and my aunt, they had the whole conversation about like why my dad wasn't really around that much. Like, how do I put this? He didn't go for milk and not come back. It's more like, he just is like, it's like, okay, I'll put it to you like this. To set the scene, my father's a pathetic man. He has always been obsessed with my mother. Like, she even knew that. Anytime I actually did, within the final few years I had seen him, try to actually see him as like a resource for safety, because I didn't really prioritize in my life for a lot of reasons. He was not that good of a dude. Like, it wasn't like he was evil, but he was just fucking pathetic and stupid in a way that it's like, wow, she fucked you. Ugh. But my mom's pathetic and stupid too because she had a restraining order against him and then still chose, I'm gonna meet with him one last time before I go to Texas for some conversation and some dick. And then they fucked consensually. She made that very clear to me. Went to Texas. She threw up 2 weeks in, moved her ass back to Texas, and then bullshit happened. I don't know the full story, but from what I can piece together, he was mad because guess what? She didn't want to date. And that aligns with plenty of memories I have with him. And like I said, during the last few years that I had ever seen him before the estrangement happened, like, my mom knew. It's like, oh, she's trying to use her dad as like a resource to try to like escape my bullshit. Watch this. And then like her ass ran to the fucking door like, hey, and she was talking to him and he was blushing up a storm and shit. Nigga, you got a whole bitch. You have a whole bitch, which mind you, he's been with for years and hasn't married. He's kind of a scumbag, but we knew this obviously because if he was a scumbag, I would probably not have a fucking thriving social career online as I do now. Cause and effect. But, like, how do I put this? Let's just say he never got over my mother. Like, at all. And I remember at some point, like, my mother knew this, but she still tried to foster a relationship with us. She was not keeping me from him. Like, if anything, like, he just was a pathetic man riddled with excuses who didn't want to try. And I don't give a fuck any excuses people say about their own upbringing. Because you can learn kindness and softness. Like, how you're nice to bitches and you take them out on dates? And then you're like, oh, damn, I don't know how to bond with my kid. The same way you bond with those bitches, except the only difference is instead of, like, I don't know, some sort of sexual gratification, you're doing it out of the kindness of your heart because you want to see your kid grow into a healthy, well-balanced individual. Fuck's sake. Hate these motherfuckers. I remember I sat down with my grandma and aunt when I was 19, and they did the whole, your mother tried to keep him from you. Your mother was insane. Da 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 da. And I still kind of was like, okay, but how about any other time? Like, during my teen years. Or like, hell, like, there were times I was here at the house, like when I was like, 10, 11, 12, all that. And he chose to stay in that room on Xbox watching Marvel movies and like DC movies and cartoons and playing on his video game. And like you had to force him to hug me. Like he had like what about those when I finally got a phone? And then my mom had to tell me to like tell him to stop contacting her to check in on me because he bought me a phone and pays my phone bill. He should be talking to me because he was basically, despite the restraining order, he was doing excuses and shit. He was like, "Oh, hey, so like he just would be hitting at my mom like, "Ooh, so how's Tamia doing? How are you doing, by the way? How's your marriage? How's her siblings?" And it's like she doesn't want to talk to him, and he wouldn't let it go. He would just keep spam texting her over and over again, like, "Hey, how you doing? How's Tamia? Hey, how's Tamia feeling? Doing this." She has a temper, and she got so angry at him that she projected that anger onto me, and she stormed into my room like, "Tell your fucking dad to not fucking talk to me. Like he got you a phone to talk to you. He's supposed to be talking to you. He's not supposed to be contacting me to talk to you." And then guess what? I had to reach out to him. I was like, "Hey, can you stop contacting my mom and like just contact me instead when you like want to talk to me?" This nigga go and say, "Why?" I had to, and I didn't hold back. I said, "Hey, my mom's getting really abusive and getting like fucking physically threatening with me because she's mad at you. So simply put, yeah, like there's a restraining order. She does not like you, and I don't need her getting mad at me because you don't want to talk to me directly. Just ask me how I'm doing. I have a phone." He was like, "Oh, okay, I understand." And you know what happened? He stopped contact altogether. Fucking bitch ass nigga. I will, to his credit though, I guess at some point maybe he had little bits of morality moments where it was just like random little text glimpses of, "Hey, sweetheart, let's go out to get seafood together." And it's like, I didn't want to do that because it's like, yeah, I didn't want to do that. And if you're like, "Why didn't you want to do that?" I'll put it to you like this. You had like 16, like 15, 16 years to get to know me and you didn't take any opportunity. And now you're trying to come way too late in the game. And it's like, what, you're just gonna buy my love with seafood? And like, how do I put this? I went through so much trauma alone, and I had to deal with my bitch ass mother who had no capabilities because, like, she's stupid and mentally insane and stuff. And if he was present in any single way beforehand, I probably would have, like, I would have been open about, like, "Hey, I've been sexually assaulted. Hey, this has happened. Hey, that has happened. I need assistance. I need someone that cares." But no. And it's like, yeah, it's like there was shit I didn't even talk to my own mother about because I knew she wouldn't handle it. What the fuck? Like, mm, there, there was shit I couldn't tell my own mother about. And that already was rough. And I knew damn well he couldn't handle that. Because any memory I do have where I was around him, it was just like, okay, total silences. We're just eating food. And it's like, no compliments. I could look drop dead gorgeous. There'd be no compliments. Like, that's the bare minimum. It's like no conversation was really had. Not really following up on my life whatsoever. Like, actually, one of the final times I ever saw him in person, I remember this stupid bitch ass nigga. He was like, "Oh, fuck, I'm about to get really angry." I like how I don't talk about the daddy issues, but only within like the past like 3 years have they actually surfaced. It's like, oh, right. There's a reason I kind of get mad whenever I hear about deadbeat dads. God damn it. Sorry. I deserved a lot better as a kid, but I'll put it to you like this way. I'm not hurt at something that I never really missed because he's not someone I see that potential in, and I don't need him for love. Or, like, if anything, the idea disgusts me. He physically repulses me as a person. God damn it. But I will say this. Me and my stupid ass older sister, half sister, we have different dads. Because, I don't know, our mom was stupid. Fucking
All her kids are mixed matched, like some fucking Chex Mix crackers, bitch. That's not fair to us. But you know, how do I put this? We all still came out pretty alright, but I remember me and my sister both had like two separate incidents where we cried in front of our mothers. I remember when my older sister, her dad died. And she didn't give a fuck about him because he was just like some alcoholic Mexican dude who was drinking under a bridge, being homeless, and doing rapey shit to people. Like, and you know, they didn't really foster a relationship. She cried in front of my mother, not because she cared about him, but just because she felt bad that, like, someone who was allegedly such a should be a good figure in her life, she 100% does not care that a member of her own family died. And she felt like a horrible fucking person when he's the one that should feel fucking bad. And that broke my mom's heart. And then not too long after that, similar happened with me. I forget the context, but I remember vaguely that I think it was something along the lines of he had a heart attack and I was the last person to get told. And, like, I don't know. I really don't remember this fully. I know I have it journaled down somewhere. But I talked to my mother and I just said, I feel bad that I 100% don't care about this man. Like, if anything happened to him, if he lives or dies, I don't care. Because he would just be gone and it wouldn't be my issue. But I feel bad because it's like, shouldn't I care? Shouldn't I care? But he didn't do anything to instill care in me. And my mother got her heart broken twice. And, you know, I think that's one of her biggest regrets is that, like, she had to have kids with such terrible men, and that even though they weren't around to, like, directly damage us, they still kind of, like, did damage. But before you, like, don't praise her too much, like, you know, she still 100% enjoys damaging her children to this day. And she is a bit, like, how do I put this? I could have I was entirely fine without the presence of a father in my life. What fucked me up was her actions. Like, how do I put this? Not having a, like, a secondary parent, yeah, that kind of sucked. But then it's like, if you knew my mom was allegedly this crazy psycho bitch, why would you leave your kid with her? I hate that shit. Because these same niggas, they'll get online and be like, my baby mama is crazy and hurting her kid. I gotta do something. And then people will tell them, how about you go to the courts and, like, get custody? Or just call the cops. And then they'll be like, eh. And then they'll be like, nah. Like, how are you gonna say that you're an active parent, but you, like, if your fucking baby mother died, your kid wouldn't have a place to sleep aside from, like, on the floor or on your couch? Because how are you an active parent, but, like, they have to bring clothes from their home? You, like, how are you an active parent, but you have a 1 bedroom apartment? Or, like, a 2 bedroom at best, but then, like, someone else is in that 2 bedroom, so your kid has to sleep on the fucking floor of the couch. Like, when I fled from my mom when she fucking assaulted me, guess what? I was just on their fucking shitty ass recliner for a while, and then that moved to an even shittier air mattress on their in the fucking living room. So, yeah. But I do remember that when I was like 19, like I said, my grandmother and aunt tried to be all, my mom was, your mom was keeping you from him. I said, well, no, because what about any time after age 10? Like, there were plenty of times where we could have hung out, we could have talked, we could have done anything. He made no effort to, like, make conversation. You had to force him to hug me. Like, he was actively uncomfortable and, like, he was not trying. Like, yeah. Like, it should not be like I can count on, like, 2 hands how many times we hung out, like, when I was a young girl. And then even less that I can count that hangouts the times were good. Like, Jesus. I don't shit on single mothers because they're the parents that stayed. Like, a fucking course, the dad's gonna look so much better. He's not around. He's not doing shit. He's got his own money. So he'll let you do any fucking thing ever. Or, like, because it's like, and then, like, even if he does have like, custody, it's the smallest amount. Like, once every 2 weeks or the weekend. It's like, yeah, he's the one who doesn't have to deal with the burden of everyday parenting and the struggles of that because he gets to just be the fun weekend guy or the every 2 weeks vacation. That's not fucking fair. That's not cool. That's unacceptable. That shit is fucked. Anyway, and as you can expect, they made excuses, and I cut the conversation short. I was like, we're not talking about this. They tried to pursue. I said, we are not going to talk about this. And then they shut the fuck up, as they should. because like I'm not into enabling and excuses. The last time I saw that man, he even tried to make excuses for himself. He was trying to be like, "Oh well, you didn't want to see me. You didn't want to see me." It's like, yeah, nigga, I was forward, and every time I saw you, you were the most like shitty dude ever. Like I couldn't even ask you to like help me untangle myself from getting tangled in the fucking monkey bars because and you would just let me fall and face plant in mulch and my pants and underwear fell down and you didn't help me up either. Of course I'm gonna not want to see you because I just think this dude sucks and he's unsupportive. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna have a good opinion of you, nigga. And even then I was four. As a parent, you are allowed to just be like, I'm picking up my daughter and I'm going to bond with her and make her like me. You don't just go, huh, this 4-year-old doesn't seem to like me that much. I'm gonna just like never ever 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 see her again. Like unless it's like super rare. Like fuck you. A phone works both ways. You're the grown man. I'm the child. Why should I have to call you? Why are you contacting my mother instead of trying to see? Like, come on now. And also, this is something that I've mentioned before. One of my first memories of this nigga was after my mom got done savagely beating me for like fucking 8 hours straight, maybe more, like doing some like 120 days of Sodom level torture on me. I remember he was snuggled up in the bed holding her hand, trying to like woo her, trying to just like be all intimate with her, like on some like, ooh, I'm trying to get back and like really. He didn't stop her. Like at most he was like, hey, she keeps crying. Don't try to make her sleep on the bathroom floor. Just bring her out here and let her watch some TV or something. Like, but that's the most he did. He didn't do anything a father should. So it's like, I don't know how good life could have been if he really was around. I don't see him as a father. I see him as just some random nigga in the street. If he got popped, I would not give a fuck. I'm sorry. I actually, no, I'm not sorry. Because why am I the sorry one? Why am I the sorry one? The last time I saw him, though, I was happy. He cried because he kind of realized the weight of his actions made me see him as entirely useless. I didn't even want his help with carrying 2 fucking big bags of mine down the fucking stairs. I didn't tell him where I was going, what I was doing. I said I'd be fucking fine. And I meant that shit because I knew I would be. I went my whole fucking life being fine without him. I went my whole fucking life being fine without him. You're just some nigga in the street. And I know you're like, why are you crying about a nigga in the street? Because I can't believe that there are people out there that will just enable that. I can't fucking stand that. You're just gonna like let your son be a deadbeat. You're gonna let your brother be a deadbeat. Like, what the fuck? Jesus. Oh, 1 second. So yeah, I don't like deadbeat niggas. I hate them. I hate a lot of people. And before anyone goes on about like, oh, is this why you hate men? No, it's just me seeing that I don't need a man. Not entirely. Like it's just one of those things where it's like, eh, like, ugh. Also, people shit on single mothers, and it's like they're like the dude is the one who got them pregnant. The dude is the one who's not around. Like, yeah, you could be like the woman should have kept her legs shut or not fucked that stupid nigga, but or got the abortion. Absolutely, but at the same time, let's like root for the parent that actually stayed and made an active choice to be around and is the one feeding the child and taking care of it. Because there's niggas out here who are just like breeding the fuck out of random ass women and got like a whole harem full of like women who they hate because it's like, oh no, I can't believe she won't just like be my permanent concubine and let me fuck her all the time. Guess I'm gonna punish her by not doing anything for that kid I made her have. Like, that's fucking ridiculous. And I don't know, my heart just broke for this little girl on Twitter because it's like she's a beautiful little girl and she deserves more than some scumbag asshole who just forgets he even has a kid. Like a girl. He just wants a whole new girl. He wants to trap another woman with a baby. Another, like a third baby mama. Terrible. And just punishing a little girl for the actions of her mother. And it's like, guess what? The mother's single, just like you. If the baby mother wants to fuck your friend, and also someone pointed out, bet your ass he didn't abandon that friend for 10 years. He probably is still friends with the guy who fucked his baby mother. Still on good terms and everything, but he just went fuck my baby mother and fuck the innocent child. Terrible. Awful shit. Also, the last guy I dated, Jared, lame ass bitch ass nigga, hate him, curse his name. I want nothing but the worst for him, and I want the best for his daughter. But let's just say he did tell me some stuff. Like when we first met, I don't know, I was nervous to date a dude who had a kid. Like, funny enough, like I thought to myself a week in advance. I was like, I would date a dude who has a kid, but I don't know. I wouldn't want any baby mama drama or issues or to like tear a family apart. But you know, his baby mother is deceased and whatnot. I'm not saying that's convenient. I'm just saying it's like, oh, interesting timing that I meet a guy who just so happens to be a single father because his baby mother or ex girlfriend or whatever is dead. But some of the shit he said doesn't add up because he was the type where he talked about how he got full custody in courts, but then he'll just be like, oh, but then next thing you know, like she would just come out of nowhere. Like Cleo would come out of nowhere and just like snatch up Natalie and dip. And I'd be like, and what did you do? He said, there was nothing I could do. I did nothing. And I thought to myself, you are granted full custody because you say that she's an abusive, drug using, psychotic bitch who is prone to hurt people, and you let her take your daughter who you have full custody of, and you let her keep her out of school and not get an education and just be in any motherfucking trap house bullshit ever because you, what was the reason? There's no reason that makes sense. And it dawned on me the more I dated him, it was like it's one of those things where it doesn't add up. Because you can call the cops, you can get her arrested for child endangerment, all that shit. You can go to the courts, you could like anything. But instead, he just went, yeah, I'm gonna let this crazy bitch take like my kid and just do what the fuck ever. Are you kidding me? Like, oh, that pissed me off. That pissed me off. Anyway, let's just say the story ends with a. Oh, I also remember this. At some point, this is how the woman died, and I'm saying it because I don't care, or I care that she died. I just don't care about my ex or keeping any secrets from him. Also, he's a terrible person, but I won't say too much because you already know enough. Trust me. If you knew more, you'd lose your mind. He had he had a baby. Sorry, sorry. I got a little distracted. Sorry, I'm kind of slightly hungover. Simply put, he had a fucking child. You know, Natalie. And then when Natalie was like 3, 4, something like that, maybe 5, or some like just a young age, her mom just came out of nowhere and was like, "I want to pick up Natalie. Can you give me Natalie?" And obviously she was strung out and losing her fucking mind. But you know what Jared's stupid ass idiot parents did? They went, "She seems like she's out of her fucking mind." But they had a gut feeling to give her Natalie, so they were like, "Okay, here's Natalie." And then she obviously said a whole bunch of schizophrenic coded paranoid shit, which she had allegedly been doing for a while, and then she drove off. And then they just went, yeah, we're not gonna do anything else about this. Not gonna call the cops. Not gonna report this. None of it. Let's just let it happen. And if I recall correctly, she went missing for several days. Several days. Several fucking days. And at some point, she even called up one of the family members and was radically saying, "I killed Natalie. I fucking killed Natalie. I think I murdered her. I think she's dead. I think she's dead." And then freaking people out. The whole time, thankfully, one of the family members was like, "No, she's alive. You dropped off Natalie hours ago. She's at my place. Are you okay?" She was not. And let's just say she went on a very intense drug bender before she eventually sadly took her life in a hotel. It was very, very tragic. Something that I should probably cite. I do remember though, Jared also did say he feels kind of responsible for the death of his baby mother because she did also come to him at some point and she said that she was feeling really suicidal and really needed help and support and all this, but he claims that she was like narcissistic as fuck. But like, sorry, she was narcissistic as fuck. And like he claims she was narcissistic, but this is Jared we're talking about. He can't smell his own shit and thinks it doesn't stink. He's a cunt. But to stay on topic, she she was basically making it clear that she felt like killing herself, and he basically just was like, "I don't care if you do. Frankly, it'll be better if you do, because we are tired of your shit." He said that to her. And also for context, because I'll say this, mind you, he has a significant age gap with this girl. Like
when they met, he hid this from me. I found out towards like the last month of us dating. Like he was like 22 or so, and she was 17 allegedly when they met. He originally told me she was 18. I learned from his daughter that she was 17 actually. And even then, I hope it was 17 and not younger. But even then, it was, I don't know. He's a lying fucking cunt. So let's just say that was a disgusting thing to find out about that man. And I never really got over it. But it's like, okay, so it's like you got a teenager pregnant, like, and she did some psycho bitch shit. He even said himself that several times he tried to get back with her, and sometimes it go good, sometimes it would go fucking awful, and then, and just like, how do I put this? The math is just not mathing for him being totally innocent in this situation. And let's just say, thankfully Natalie was okay, but the baby mother eventually did take her life and kill herself. And to this day, he has not told his daughter that it was a suicide. I had to keep telling him, you will one day have to tell her. And she seems like she kind of knows what happened. She knows her mother didn't die of COVID. She's probably heard your conversations or our conversations, and she has your phone. She's probably seen your texts. So, like, you should talk to her about it. God, he's stupid. Like, Jesus. I even told him the way to do it because he was like, I don't know how to say that her mom was a crazy psycho bitch and this, and that, and then talk about suicide. And I said, hey, and I explained with my own situation with my mother and my dad. Like, I said my mother was no saint, but she was still good at like trying to, like, she didn't like my dad, but she still made it clear that she was trying to instill in me that he wasn't an inherently bad guy. He was a flawed individual with mental health issues that she at some point really admired, loved, and saw as her closest confidant and friend. Things just went wrong, and she's still like, I heard all the details about like their restraining order, how it was an accident, all this shit, but she did it in a very classy, eloquent way that I understood, and I did not take any of it personal because she, some ways she explained it funny and goofy. It's like, hey, like, instead of being like, your dad was an evil man who hid in our bushes, she was like, your daddy was crazy back then. He would hide in the bushes when I was pregnant just to spy on me. It was so weird. But then she also, when it got serious, she did make it clear, like, he had a rough childhood. He doesn't know a lot of things, so we have to be careful with him. But I like to think, like, she still was gentle. And I had to tell him, you can talk about what happened between you and your ex without demonizing her, and just be gentle about it. Kids can handle a lot more than you think. And I had to tell him, like, no offense, your kid probably has found like more intense shit on YouTube than like even this. Like, it would be heavy on her, but you just have to let her know your mother had a lot of issues in her life that sadly did not get involved. She had a messed up childhood. She very much did love you till the very end. And sadly, her issues just were very overwhelming. But at the end of the day, she loved you. She wanted you safe. All this. He could, like, I hope he one day decides to fucking do that. But, he's a fucking idiot, and he didn't do a lot of shit that he should have. But, I'm gonna stay on topic. But yeah, anyway, let's just say he was happy when she died. Like, he didn't openly say it, but he was, like, at the very least relieved, because he was gonna kill himself too, allegedly, because he was sick of living and annoyed because he didn't have custody of his daughter, and he was in the military losing his fucking mind. So he, like, out of no, like, let's just say he was in the military, he was considering suicide. He just kind of was like, you know what, fuck this shit. He was in Switzerland doing cocaine, knowing that they were gonna check his blood for it and he was gonna get punished. He got discharged, and around the same time, I guess, like, that's when like, the baby mother killed herself. And so he was like, oh, like, he was like, fuck, I was supposed to be the one to kill myself, this bitch. And then he also was like, oh, but I get to have my daughter now. Scary, but yay. And I don't know, he's still, it's debatable on if he's a good father or not. Let's just say good enough that I kept seeing him and kept an eye on him, and his daughter seemed happy and loves him a lot. But I still noticed certain things. Like, I had to tell him, it's like, hey, you probably shouldn't, like, be on dates so late with me until like 4 a.m. and then going to drive cities away to wake your daughter up at her granddad's place at 5 to force her to get in the car and then go back home and get like maybe some more sleep until she goes to school at like 7:30. That's not cool. But he'd be like, she's fine, she's fine. I'd be like, hey, maybe you're spending too much time with me. He'd be like, she's fine, she's fine. So I don't know. But other, like, let's just say his daughter loves him and is happy, but just, there's more. But I don't want to keep this video too long. But I'm just saying, like, I thought to myself, I'll date him and see if he's a good parent myself. But I still kind of always remembered, like, this is a man who, when the, like, your crazy bitch ex allegedly was a crazy bitch, allegedly,
Because, mind you, this is Jared we're talking about. He's a manipulative, lying, evil cunt. How do I put this? Why are you letting a woman who's spun out on drugs and schizophrenic and bipolar and all this alleged crazy shit take your young, very young child and just take her fuck knows what and not seeing your child for 6 months? Especially a little girl, because the types of people that can be around a child in those environments, and you were just fine with it, that doesn't paint the image of someone who was a good, active, caring, loving father. That paints an image of like, this is a nigga who was just happy that he could stop being caretaker. Like, because if he really loved that kid, he would have been like, fuck you, I'm calling the cops, I'm keeping custody, she's staying in school, you're not fucking taking her, I want her safe. Did he do that? No. And even like as we dated, he would just say little shit that would add up and did lead to our breakup, amongst many things. But just things like, oh, well, she's a girl, how am I supposed to talk to her? I said, you know, she's your daughter and a kid, you talk to her about the same things you talk to a boy child about, just anything you want, anything you can think of to talk to me, talk to her about. And it helps because, like you said, we're basically the same person. So if you ever think, wow, I love talking to Tamia, just imagine how cool it would be to like have the same cool conversations with like your own flesh and blood who looks like you and loves you. He even at some point alluded that he wouldn't even be shocked if his daughter wasn't his daughter. I had to look that nigga in the face and be like, she's your doppelganger. What do you mean? Like, same jawline, same eyes, same nose shapes, same cheekbones, all that. Like, and the same teeth. I don't want to go like, his teeth are a distinctive type of fucked up. His daughter is a beautiful girl, but I'm gonna admit she got her dad's smile. That's not a bad thing, but it's like, simply put, like, it's like someone just took him and then shaved him and youth and made him young. Sorry, made him young, and then just shaved him and put on a bob wig and went, there we go. That's a little girl, and that's what his daughter looks like. Bitch ass nigga. Oh my god, he sucks. Let's just be glad I left that relationship, but it's a shame. Like, I thought to myself, I won't hold against him his past because he's an active father now. But even then, I don't know. In fact, the reason our breakup got solidified was because he tried to spend more money on porn, and like the chance to fuck a so-called porn star, which, and that was just a deep fake that was ran by some scammers, and then he almost risked losing custody of his fucking child and his fucking place, and all of that because he decided to be stupid and reckless. Sometimes I see certain types of men and I'm like, it's a shame that someone has a father like you. And then guess what? When I was trying to help him get back on his feet, like trying to suggest temp jobs and shit, he'd say, fuck no, I'm not gonna pay like $7 for a food handler's card, even if it means I can work and get all the money I need over this weekend. Instead, he blew a shit ton of money on shrooms and beer and alcohol and just was like drinking up a storm. And nigga, sir, what? Anyway, so it's like a debate on like, is it good that some of these niggas stayed away so that they couldn't like fuck up their kids' life more, or like, I don't know, should they have been around? That's debatable. Let's just say it's a shame that some people had to be born to certain families in the first place, and I feel bad for that. Kids don't deserve to get involved in bullshit like that. Children are innocent. You brought them into this planet, you love them, you nurture them, you try, you give them the same love you knew you wanted and needed as a kid. And then, even if you fuck up a few times, guess what? You still try. You don't just give up. Like, you don't just go, hey, I'm kind of tired of being a parent. Let's just let the crackhead mother just take her any fucking where. No, you don't do that. You don't go, huh, my 4-year-old kid is kind of mad at me and doesn't want to hang out. You don't decide, I'm not going to see her ever again. You decide, I'm going to work on being a better dedicated parent. Like, I hate these, like, ooh. And I'm just saying, I'm tired that the world has more hate for single mothers when they're the parent that fucking stayed. They changed everything in their life. Their pussy doesn't grip the same. Their body, like, they fucking pee every time they sneeze, all that shit. They're the one who stayed. Like, okay, like, there's some bitches out there that are crazy. Ask yourself, why did you fuck her, and why do you still want to keep fucking her, knowing that she's like a neglectful parent and a bad partner to you? Because you yourself are fucked up in the head and not that good of a person. You like, come on now. Hate these motherfuckers. Children that are just raising or not raising children that they actually created. It's like, let the actual children be childish. Your adults act like it. And yeah, I'm just so tired of hearing about deadbeat dads because there's no fucking excuse. If you know that she's a crazy bitch,
then apply for full custody. If she's truly insane, apply for full custody. If you know that you're flawed, then still apply for custody, but also get help in therapy and shit. Or try to get her, if you want to keep the family together, then be a good man, you be a good woman. Like, everyone try for each other, you know? And like, whatever doesn't work, it doesn't work. But simply put, the main goal should be the kid is happy and safe and content at both places, whether they're separate or together. We are civil to each other and decent, limited contact, all that. I fucking hate deadbeat parents of all types. I hate stupid ass mothers who do dumb shit that fucks up their kids' lives, and I hate stupid ass fucking dads too. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's it for this TED Talk. And yeah, if you know that bitch is crazy, either don't get her pregnant, don't promise a future with her, or like, yeah, just don't. Stupid. If anything, yeah, I remember I asked Jared how she was conceived, and he straight up, because that's just a question I ask. Don't take it too personally. It's not that weird. But we talked, and indeed, it was like, hey, look, like he just was like, yeah, I was just nutting in her all the time, like no condoms, no protection, no anything, like not even just stupid. Yeah, I pray for that little girl. I'm still debating on if I should call CPS over that shit that happened over the summer. Because it's like he did resolve it. He did eventually come to his senses, but he only came to his senses because I was at risk of leaving him. It's like, no, you should be a good parent because you want to be a good parent. You shouldn't be a good parent because it's like, oh no, the hot 20 something is starting to like fall out of love with me because I'm being neglectful. I better start getting my shit you should have already been getting your shit together. You shouldn't be at risk of like, ooh, I'm gonna lose pussy. I should start being a good person now. Like, fuck you, dude. Anyway, sorry to all the people out there who are dealing with like conflict in their with their ex lovers, with their baby mothers, baby fathers, all that. But simply put, focus on the kid. Love the kid. Treat the kid well. Make sure it has everything from schooling to education to safety. And if you're the type of person that it's like some relationship squabble or some stupid bullshit, like you want to do anything that can under prioritize your kid, I don't fucking respect you in the slightest. Amen. Bye.